In 1857, the SS Central America was carrying a huge shipment of California gold rush treasure when it sank in a hurricane off the coast of South Carolina. Thousands of pounds of gold disappeared into the Atlantic, and the wreck became one of America's greatest lost treasure mysteries. More than a century later, a young oceanic engineer in Columbus, Ohio, became obsessed with finding it. His name was Thomas "Tommy" Thompson. Thompson did not believe the wreck was impossible to find. He approached the problem like an engineer and used historical records, oceanographic information, and Bayesian search theory, a mathematical method for calculating probabilities, to determine where the ship was most likely to be lying on the ocean floor. But there was one enormous problem: money. Finding a ship thousands of feet beneath the Atlantic required sophisticated equipment, engineers, divers, and remotely operated underwater technology. So Thompson began looking for investors. His pitch was extraordinary, but so was his confidence. Eventually, 161 investors contributed approximately $12.7 million to finance the expedition. Thompson assembled a team of engineers and specialists and transformed a research vessel into a sophisticated treasure hunting operation. Then came the technology that would make the impossible possible. The team developed Nemo, a massive remotely operated underwater vehicle weighing about 6 tons. It was equipped with cameras, robotic arms, and powerful thrusters capable of clearing sediment from the wreckage, while engineers controlled it from the surface. In 1988, after years of preparation, Thompson and his team headed into the Atlantic. They believed they had finally identified the location. Then Nemo descended. Down and down it went, into the darkness of the Atlantic, thousands of feet beneath the surface. And then, they found it. The SS Central America. The legendary ship of gold was no longer a legend. Gold bars and coins were brought up from the seabed, and the discovery was described by Thompson as almost unbelievable. Contemporary estimates placed the recovered treasure in the tens of millions of dollars, while later valuations of the wrecked treasure reached far higher. For the 161 investors, this appeared to be the moment they had been waiting for. They had taken an enormous financial risk. Now they expected the reward. But instead of celebration, the discovery triggered a legal war. 39 insurance companies came forward. They argued that they had insured the cargo when the ship sank in 1857. Because they had paid claims for the lost treasure, they argued that they had rights to the recovered gold. The battle lasted for years. Eventually, courts awarded the Discovery Company the vast majority of the treasure, with the insurers receiving a smaller share. But the biggest problem for Thompson was still waiting. His investors expected to be paid, and according to later court records, they said they never received the returns they had been promised. By around 2000, Thompson's company had sold hundreds of gold bars and thousands of coins, generating approximately $50 million from one major sale. Yet by 2005, investors were still demanding their money. Lawsuits followed. Some members of Thompson's own recovery crew also sued, claiming they were owed money. Then, in 2012, the situation became even more serious. A federal judge ordered Thompson to appear in court and provide information about money and the whereabouts of 500 missing gold coins. But Thompson did not appear. Instead, he disappeared. He and his longtime companion, Allison Andy Kyer, left Ohio and went into hiding. For years, they managed to stay ahead of authorities. They eventually settled in Florida, living under assumed names and using cash to pay their expenses. According to federal authorities, they were eventually found staying at a Hilton hotel in Boca Raton. The U.S. Marshals finally caught up with them in January 2015. Both were arrested, but the mystery surrounding the missing gold did not end there. Authorities wanted Thompson to reveal the location of approximately 500 gold coins, then valued at roughly $2.5 million. And Thompson refused. He claimed the coins had been transferred to a trust in Belize, but he did not provide the information authorities wanted. That refusal had enormous consequences. A federal judge held Thompson in contempt and ordered him to remain in custody until he complied with the court's demands. His imprisonment ultimately lasted far longer than the original sentence because he continued refusing to disclose the location of the coins. And here is the astonishing part. The treasure hunt that began with a man searching for a lost fortune ended with the treasure hunter himself becoming the mystery. Thompson had successfully located one of the most famous shipwrecks in American history. He had helped recover millions of dollars in gold. He had convinced 161 people to finance a seemingly impossible expedition. But years later, he was sitting in federal custody because he refused to reveal where hundreds of the missing gold coins were. As of 2026, Thompson has been released from prison after spending roughly a decade behind bars over the missing coins. The mystery, however, remains. He has maintained that the coins were transferred to a Belize trust, but their whereabouts have never been conclusively established. So the story of the Ship of Gold is not simply about treasure buried beneath the Atlantic. It is a story about mathematics, technology, ambition, greed, laws, lawsuits, secrecy, and the extraordinary consequences of finding something everyone else thought was lost forever. Tommy Thompson went looking for a lost ship. He found it. He found the gold. But in the end, the biggest mystery became Tommy Thompson himself and the location of the gold that disappeared with him.